Okay, so technically we're streaming now. Technically.
Oh, it's live, allegedly.
Oh. Hello, guys. Denzel Curry, big up. Let's see. Excellent connection. Oh. Amazing. So I'll turn this. Nice, it's already low. Good job. That's smart. So we don't use too much internet. So no one's going to comment, but if they did, it would come up, show up here.
Okay.
And like, as you can see, there's a bit, quite a bit of delay. So when we're just talking, we might as well have it here, just out of habit, because it'll show if we're still streaming. It'll show.
But don't we need
viewers.
the white thing to see, or make that bigger?
What do you mean?
We need to show.
That's what I'm saying. When we're talking, we'll have it like this, and when we're working, we'll have it like this.
All right. Okay.
And then I've done this before, so. Hey, welcome. So this is our second installment. The first installment we
couldn't stream.
We couldn't stream. Yeah. Because of certain policies.
Yep.
But we're okay. We roll with the punches.
We did. It was really fun.
It was.
Very productive too.
All right. So the go-to things today are in the they're in the notes, but I think I'll grab a little bit of cardboard. So what we do, we look around. We live in a city. We live in Manchester, and there's always cardboard about.
Oh, you're going to tell them the note-taking.
So we always write on things that will
discarded
eventually.
Pieces of crap.
We're like middlemen. Before something goes to the bin, it goes to us. What? Oh,
you're
it's
just
delay.
behind. Yeah.
All right. So if you could write these down, please, with your wonderful handwriting. It's
on this.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Emotional maps. I'm copying up. Claims.
Nope. So the first thing we're going to do is...
First thing we're going to do is elevator pitch.
So... Oh God. I cannot spell. And then we're doing claims. But you said emotional maps was a pretty big topic. Do you think we can do both claims and emotional maps at 5:30?
You're going home at 11.
Okay. Okay. What, you ready to stream for that long? Big boy? Big boy?
I got endurance now. I'm a jogger. I'm a real-time jogger.
Okay.
That's a cap. That's a cap.
Okay.
It's quite a big delay. But apparently the quality's better. So when we have people in chat, we can change the delay to make it more responsive.
Okay.
And so there's not that they ask a question,
and
don't
then
answer,
for about 2 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason why poker can't really be streamed. You need to stream with a delay because people can literally see your cards, but then that messes with the whole interactive process. All right. Looks pretty good. Is that 3:30? Nice. So this is only 3:30 and it looks pretty decent, which is a good sign.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to explain what we did yesterday with the elevator pitch?
1 minute elevator pitch.
Well, you don't have to tell them the elevator pitch.
Oh, okay.
We're working towards it, right?
Okay.
You can tell them the process that we created yesterday.
I mean, all I was doing, kicking back being bull, blicking back being bull, and just observing a master at work. And you were, mate, I mean, what I learned from it was structure.
Yeah.
The structure that you used that I found very useful.
Yeah.
And you had a system which cut the fat. So the structure was problem, solution.
Yeah.
Intermittent in that you can have certain facts. So with your elevator pitch, you actually ended it on a fact, which was the used clothes market will grow by 50% by 2030.
Yeah.
We'll have
it was, and that served, if I remember correctly, that served as reassurance to the person with whom you're speaking, because you're anticipating a question and answering it in the same breath.
Oh, you see it like that?
Yeah.
I just thought it was. I saw it more as a reassurance. Like, I know clothes sound saturated, but it's actually this particular subgenre of clothing is a growing market.
It's not only that, it's that, but what if, because sometimes you can speak to people who are quite separated from the market itself. And so they extrapolate their personal attitudes to other people because they're not part of that culture. And so with my elevator pitch in mind, with my elevator pitch, the demographic that I had in mind was, because I understood how to explain it to people, and I've got different speeches or pitches that I give to different demographics, but the particular demographic that I had in mind for the elevator pitch was investors, right? Investors are quite wealthy. They're quite wealthy, but they're quite separated from the clothing market as it exists. Yes. And so
they see it as like a female waste of time, kind of like how women look at football.
This took a weird turn. It's not where I was going at all. They're not their demand for clothing is of a completely different nature to the demand for clothing that most people have, and their attitudes toward clothing is also very different.
Yeah.
So their attitude might be secondhand clothing. Who'd go for that? So that's the reassurance that
you said reassurance.
Yeah, it is a reassurance, but it's for what purpose and for who?
Exactly, that's what you were explaining.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and the way I structured the elevator pitch for Swap Shop was I started by listing the problem, explained the problem slightly, and then explained what my solution for the problem was. And I think that's a method that will work for anyone. It's a very simple method that I think will work for anyone if you're starting a business, because I feel like when I was doing it, I was completely alone. There's a bunch of information about elevator pitches. You know that you should have one. You might even understand what it is. You might even know what it looks like. The thing that I found was missing is the process by which to get there. And even if it was explained, I didn't have a visceral understanding, and I feel like you got a visceral understanding of how to do it yesterday, and your instant reaction was, you should do this with Gargo. But I feel like just observing someone do it is a great first step, and then attempting it yourself, maybe with the help of others, because I think it was the act of us working together that allowed us to create an elevator pitch.
Yep.
Don't start a company by yourself. Just don't do it.
It depends. Ask yourself this: how strong are you really?
No,
not when you're around your mates, not when you're outside when you're on your Todd. No one can see what you're doing. How strong are you, bro?
I don't even think it's about strength.
Okay. Because you have internet, right? So you're not really working alone, because you're pooling from the vast wealth of knowledge.
But that's true without the internet too. If I'm reading a book, then I'm using.
Yeah, but you're not pooling from the vast.
I am. If I'm in a library, how's it not pooling?
Come on, bro.
What are you talking about?
Come on, bro. Because you're talking about
the digitization of knowledge.
But you can see things that you could never see, like
easier,
market.
Sure.
Like the market. Like our market is online, so we can view our market live, but you're still alone. Whereas in the past, you'd go out into the market and look at the market, and you wouldn't say you're alone.
You were alone. You're still working alone.
Okay, go on. Explain.
Well, it's not about strength. Well, I just wouldn't recommend it. It's
not even at
impossible. It's simple. Coming up with an idea yourself as early as possible. Try to convince other people to jump on board.
Are you a parasite that doesn't want to do the work on her own? Are you at work?
Cut off the stream. I'm done.
Are you Fiverr? Yo, I love at work. I can't even lie. I can't even hate on it.
Never used it. I tried. I looked. I feel like I was getting scammed, but
it's a whole other story.
Yeah, it's a whole other story. Story time. Come back.
Why it's not about strength?
It's okay. So I think you can be the strongest person on the planet and not run a company by yourself. Not start a company by yourself. I'm not talking about the first year. Like, not actually turn it into a successful big business. Like, if you're thinking big, okay, maybe if you're thinking smaller and you feel like, or maybe it's just me, but I don't, okay, let me put it this way. I don't think it's a coincidence that investors have an absolute zero tolerance policy for sole founders. I don't think that's an accident. They see it. They see it just like us, just like me. Having attempted to do it, it's impossible. It's impossible.
So I think I am agreeing what you're saying, and I would like to categorize it.
Okay.
There are different components, and I think the key component in what you said that I was not weighting correctly was you said either start or found.
Okay.
And I took that as the first time you ever conceive of the idea of creating a business.
That always happens in the mind of the individual. Yeah. Exactly.
And so what you were focusing on was the start or the found bit, which was the action that you take in terms of the steps that are taken in order to construct something, a system. And
no man is an island.
Your mama's so fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, then of course, because what are you actually, you're building the team.
Yeah.
And the team, that kind of chemistry from the UT perspective, can approach uncertainty.
Yeah.
So even if, because there was a guy who, you know, was it Casey Neistat? The guy who like rides around New York on the electric scooter, on the electric skate longboard. Anyway, some guy who was really famous at some point. His vlogs were basically perfect for the time. Just he had drone shots, the footage was HD, but the narrative as well, like he would tell a story and it would be really high quality and there would be amazing B-roll and he would pick good music.
And it would be edited correctly.
His editing was amazing, that's basically,
correctly.
Or tastefully.
Okay, yeah.
And he got a team to create an app, and the app was, you take your phone, imagine this is the phone, and this is the screen, you put it towards you, when it's black, it records what you're doing. So it's Snapchat during the Snapchat era, but instead of you doing like this or of yourself, you show things from your perspective, was the idea behind it. It failed. But the team that he built around it, partly because of his fame, partly because he could get funding, because of his connections, the team that he built around him got bought out by CNN or something. And now they're working, probably doesn't exist anymore, but at the time, they were working on something completely different. But CNN saw it as a decent investment because of the team. So I completely agree.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Got you in your funny bone. That tingle sensation.
I think, and that's why your pitch deck for startups, right?
Okay.
You have like 7 slides. A whole slide is dedicated to the team.
Of course, yeah, 2.
Exactly.
I overvalue it potentially. Yeah. Maybe because I don't have one, so I long for it.
It's picture of you, picture of me. What skills do you have? None.
Picture of you, picture of me.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Back to the elevator pitch. So, yesterday when we were recording, I did something.
You do a lot of things. A lot of this.
No, but a little bit of this as well. And messed up the stream.
But now we know when it happens.
But yeah, it's better that we know.
So why can't we, for Gargo, just do a quick rundown of what we were doing yesterday?
Yeah.
And just do it again.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I embolden you.
Cool.
Weaponize you.
So the first thing we're going to do...
hello. Yeah. I want to start... I've got a company. I kind of know what it is, but I kind of don't. I can explain it in 40 minutes.
40?
Yeah.
Get out.
But clearly that's too
Even
long.
God can't help you. Get out.
2025, my people need me. I've got the stick of power, so I'm much stronger than I was before.
Okay, sorry. Now I have to listen to you.
I was role playing, and you just killed me.
I'm trying to highlight that if you're 40 minutes, your explanation. I think the problem.
So someone couldn't come to you with a 40-minute explanation, and you couldn't chop it down to 1 minute.
This is not a business I run. I'm here for the second time, just like you are.
You gotta fake it till you make it, baby.
$3.99.
Jesus, 39.
What?
That's right.
That's how little you think. Free.
I just turned.
Free. Okay, we've spat on
Hello, I'm Gargo. By we, it was me. Hello, I'm Gargo.
Nice.
I know what I want to do, and it's like football. And
Okay.
I can explain it in 5 minutes.
Alright. Or 45. That's okay. I can help you.
Tell
me more, sir. So what are you here for?
About? So what would you go? What's the...
Okay, so I think one of the first things that I would recommend would be trying to better your own understanding. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're going. Or you can't know... That was very circular. You can't know the direction in which to go if you don't know where you're going. If you don't know what you want...
We're getting closer to something that I know what you want. One more
Okay.
time. The third time the charm.
If you don't know what you want...
Yep.
You don't know what to build.
Ooh.
You don't know what to create. Okay?
Ooh.
And that's why I think an elevator pitch, even if you have no interest in getting funding, which I completely understand, you still want a concise way of explaining your business or your idea. And most businesses are problem solution based. There's a gap in the market, and the gap in the market is based on a problem that users or consumers face. And I've come up with a solution. I was thinking yesterday.
So I've come up with a solution, or I want to try and solve it. Because you said you start off with wants.
Yeah. So it can be
Or, you know what I mean, how far along...
at any stage, I think. So this is what I was thinking yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be quite useful for people who want to come up with a business idea. Some people,
Okay.
like I've with the Y Combinator startup school thing. Remember I said a lot of people just want to be startup creators,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have an idea. And I think that's probably a good place for them to start. Even if they want to get a general idea of what they care about. Mm-hmm. When we wrote down our problems yesterday, we were kind of on the same page about what problems in society we saw.
Definitely.
And what sort of problems matter to us.
One.
Well, we write them down now.
Yeah, let's go for it. So that's where we begun. We began with the problems. Amazing.
Right, and you just want to mind map it.
Now, the reason we're mind mapping it is
That
because
almost
this
worked.
is... I know. I mean, it basically did. It faded into the start. Oh, the truth is not. Yeah, pretty much. Practice makes perfect. So there are schools of thought that really value iteration. So with these schools of thought, it's very prevalent at the moment. I was listening to a design podcast, and you don't have to listen to me. You just can, I'm just talking while you're working. And they didn't have a certain designer for the specific thing that they wanted to have built. And the team lead simply said, "Oh, that doesn't matter. We'll just iterate a few more times and then we'll get it right." And from the perspective of the person talking, she thought this was a complete overvaluation of what iteration is capable of. But that's something for the side. That's simply to say that iteration is very highly valued today. And with that type of mindset, or with that type of value belief, it's important to start early and try and get that feedback loop going as soon as possible. And so that's why I think I'd tie that into what Mario was saying in terms of get your idea in front of someone else as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Get that feedback, iterate, get it in front of someone else, feedback, iterate.
100%.
Because the more times you drew these mind map clouds, the closer it is to being perfect.
I also think that
It's all about
you
practice.
should be careful when
Who
sharing.
you take.
Yeah, because a
'Cause
lot
some
of people are
people-
Debbie Downers, bro.
A lot.
Like instant reaction, because people are afraid of change. And people are, and I'm not going to assume why a person has a particular reaction, from my experience, I've had suspicions about why people react in the way they react, and sometimes it's because they're so set in their ways that they can't imagine something different. Other people are just a little bit salty because they don't want to do stuff, and so they don't like it when other people do stuff because it holds up a mirror.
Company.
Yeah, exactly. Other people genuinely don't understand. They're just too separated from that thing.
Or they're
and
not
so
in the right state of mind.
they're not in, exactly. People have problems of their own, man. And when you start talking about the problems in society, they're like, oh God, get a grip. We're all dealing, like, we've all got problems, son.
We all got problems, son.
Okay, this is a bit hard. It's easier when we talk about it.
Definitely.
Okay, so one of the problems we identified yesterday was insufficient education. Right?
That's the way you like to say it. Yep.
You said you really liked the word insufficient yesterday. Convenient
I
that it went
thought
black.
we changed it to narrow.
We didn't change it to narrow in the slightest. We didn't.
We did in the.
You tried to sneak that in, and I was like, tot.
Oh, okay, yeah. Still, clearly, I still have resistance to insufficient. Clearly.
So, go on, come up with a better one. Explain what the problem is. Explain what the problem is. What's the problem?
The problem is education is narrow.
You think they don't teach us enough?
A particular type of person.
Okay.
And it prepares them for a particular type of future. And it's probably always been the case, but especially now, where we're more interconnected and we've scaled up. Cities have allowed us to scale up. And that's kind of unlocked different types of jobs. First, your jobs are just staying alive, right? Root chakra. Then it's like dating or finding, marriages. And then it's good food or restaurants. And then it's whatever.
Okay, that's
all these different types of realities are not being catered to. By education.
Okay, that's your. I completely agree. Something I'd like to add is the distribution of education across the country, definitely across the world, is unfair, and we're leaving a bunch of kids behind, man. And that's my problem with education.
But when you explained your education experience yesterday, you said the thing was no kid left behind. So either they failed at what they wanted to do, or how much do you believe in no kid bit left behind?
No kid left behind is, the bar is so low for no kid left behind.
Okay.
I think they're leaving kids behind because my understanding or my version of education is, have we equipped you with the ability to think for yourself? And other people might disagree. Maybe I'm calling it okay. My purpose or my motivation, I'm wording this wrong.
That's fine.
My goal with education would be equipping the individual with the ability to think. And I think that's not done. Maybe that's not done anywhere. Maybe that's not the priority. I think that there are too many kids left behind, but it's where you're left behind. You can get to a certain type of education, a certain level, like an Oxbridge education, and still not have the ability to think for yourself.
Part of the reason why we're in Manchester, industrialisation was so widely adopted, in my opinion, is because of the efficiency of specialisation. When you have one person performing a handful or just one task every day, they get really, really efficient at it. They can basically they can do it in their sleep. They're just like bing, 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 and they can do that so often, and combined with all the other specializations, suddenly you have things that are incredibly cheap. I think that's not just limited to industrialization. I think there's a wider value that's stemming from, and I think it's a social phenomenon. And so when I get together with a group of people, I think part of the strength of being in a group is the fact that we have some types of specialization. And maybe it's just wording here, right? We're just trying to figure out where we are.
Do you think that specialization should be done for you, or do you think that specialization should be done according to where you gravitate?
I think it's both. Annoying answer. But I think these days it's too much what the society wants from you, and not enough of what you have to offer.
I think it's more today what you want, especially in the UK and America.
Oh, you mean
back when they were like industrializing.
So we got lost on scale here.
Okay.
I was talking about the future we envision.
Okay.
And the lackings of today.
All
right.
right.
You were talking about the things that have happened in the past.
Yeah. Just for clarity, because I think some people will see what we're saying and their initial response will be, "That's ungrateful. That's not true." Do you know what I mean? So I'm just clarifying.
Sure. Definitely, yeah. We sit on the shoulders of our ancestors. I would say forefathers, but mothers too. You know, they're the ones who really perpetuate the language. And if it wasn't for the wisdom of our ancestors, neither of us, or Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos, or Einstein would have come up with the wheel.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't one thing to even come up with the wheel. That was a compounded set of knowledge. And so just humble ourselves, you know, like we've come such a long way, and we definitely both appreciate that a lot. Okay. And so the only point, I'm not necessarily disagreeing, I'm just trying to get some clarity and feel like what's going on.
It's not a pause at all.
And it would be, if there are certain types of things that I can think about well, and there are certain things I think about very inefficiently when compared to other people. Now I can practice, and I do practice to get that better, because I think accepting that you just suck at something isn't that healthy all of the time, or a lot of the time. At the same time, no matter how much I practice, someone will be able to do chess calculations better than me.
Yeah.
And so, in a sense, I'm accepting my lack of being able to think for myself within the chess field, and whatever that person says, I just say that's a given. Yeah. I go to Alexei and he says take it as a given, and he goes take it as a given. It doesn't even speak like that, and I'd be like I'd be like that. Right? And that's part of the efficiency. So when you say education is insufficient, we both agree on that. Yeah. And then we scale in, or we break that down, and
I agree 100% with your version of it. I agree. It is narrow. I don't think that's the whole problem with education.
But it's just what you really
insufficient
like.
Is broad. It covers the narrowness, and it covers my point.
I thought your point was particularly broken poor kids. Was that not the point?
Mostly, yeah. But not only broken poor kids who come from, like, I've explained this to you before, it's a specific group of broken poor kids. It's kids that don't... Okay, broken poor covers it. I just realised you split it into broken poor. Okay. So I feel like insufficient covers it. What did we say yesterday?
Narrow.
No, I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Where did I write it? Was it on the on this? On this.
Careful not to knock the microphone.
No. What did you say as a problem? You said education. So what did you say as a problem?
Oh, well, I remember the elevator speech.
Yeah, so what was it?
The elevator speech.
No, not the whole thing, just the education part of it.
Yeah. Was make education, gamify education, make it more engaging.
But the problem. We didn't state a problem. What was the problem?
Oh, you're right. We did. Oh, did we not state a problem?
We did state the problems. Because you said that, and I was like, it's a real struggle.
No, that was broken poor kids.
Exactly, but we said education too. I know we said education. Should we
Insufficient.
watch it back?
Yeah, go on. We have internet now.
Oh, I was on TikTok.
Full moon tonight. Woo!
Woohoo!
We all know there are problems in society.
Like what?
Like
That's too
loneliness.
loud.
Like the government working in the dark.
We're all working in the dark.
We're all working in the
What about a lack of transparency?
Did you say education yet?
I don't think so. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Loneliness.
But we didn't.
Okay, loneliness.
Like the government working in the dark.
Let's write that down.
We're all working in the dark, bro.
What about a lack of transparency? Kids being broke and poor at the same time.
That struggle's real.
Education being too narrow. Unhealthy body and mind.
Oh, you snuck that in, did you? Okay.
But that's just our first draft. You know, there are many improvements to be made. Eventually, it's going to be.
Today we need to do an improvement.
Wait, what?
We're doing it every day until we get it right. Remember, we're going to post a video every single day.
But I snuck this one in. The video actually says part 1, not day 1.
Don't care. Tomorrow's going to say day 2.
Tomorrow, nice.
Lack of transparency. Well, we posted one today.
Technically.
Lack of transparency. What did we say? Oh, unhealthy
Loneliness,
minds and
okay.
body.
Bro, can it get any thinner? Hey. I might have to buy new tips for this.
Anything else? Okay, so we've explained education, broken poor. Do you want to explain that? What's the difference?
Broken poor. Broke is a financial situation that you find yourself in. And
Like if Jeff Bezos lost all his money today, he'd be broke.
he'd be broke.
But he wouldn't be poor.
He wouldn't.
But
be
why
poor.
wouldn't he be poor?
He wouldn't be poor externally. He wouldn't be poor because of the social connections that he has and the value of those social connections.
And
right?
like his education and everything that backs him.
I would
Oh,
say
that's
the
internally.
internal.
Okay.
But it's true. It's externalized in terms of he was the ex-CEO of this. So that's the reason why he wouldn't be poor. Poor is a state of mind, or poor is at least a way of thinking, or certain narratives that you perpetuate.
What are taught to you?
What are taught to you. Poor is the lack of exposure to certain things.
Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey do is a very real thing. And if you don't see anyone around you doing anything other than, you know, what would basically be classed as low value ways to make money, right? Or like inefficient ways to make money. If your effort is high, but the amount of money you get for that effort is relatively low. If that's all you see, or you get a lot of money but the risk is high, then that's all you're really going to be inspired by. And so with the internet, my hope kind of is to provide inspiration to kids that are poor, that it can be done. And I feel like your inspiration is something
What,
along
for
the
broken
lines of,
poor?
yeah, to kind of like
That's part of the
to
education as
actively
well. It's to
provide
get
them
them
with
out of the
these-
poverty mindset. Because I feel like, first of all, we don't want to pretend as if broken poor aren't very strongly linked. If you're poor, you're probably broke. And if you're broke, you're probably poor.
I feel like it's the more time you spend broke,
Yeah.
the poorer you get.
And generationally,
So that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
If your
Okay.
dad,
Oh, you mean not only in your life?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, if your dad was broke and his dad was broke and his dad was broke, then you're probably going to be poor.
Because you hear these stories in films and stuff where it's like, my dad was a genius inventor, but he never made any money, and blah blah blah. We grew up poor, but he saved up enough money
to send me to
to
college.
send me to
Yeah.
and now I'm Jeff Bezos. Because it's just kind of like a little gap of being broke.
Yeah.
But then, what if he didn't make it?
Exactly. Or what if his dad wasn't a genius inventor?
You start getting poor real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, poverty also has to do with ambition, I think, because that's a thing that's passed on generationally, I think.
Yeah.
But it's also within you. Some people will be on the hierarchy of ambition. Some people are going to be more ambitious just from birth and environment. Okay. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't particularly like that there are broken poor people. That's very sad. I grew up broke, but not poor.
Because your mum's real clever and real hard working.
And she didn't grow up broke.
And she didn't grow up poor.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The government and us are working blind. What does that mean, Bio? Oh, this is Bio and I'm Maria.
Oh, hello, Maria. She's starting a business, huh? I'm helping her out.
He started a business and I'm helping him out.
And together we make Creative Mayo. Government and us are working in the blind. Now, it's an interesting phenomena because the people in power have an incentive to perpetuate a belief that isn't true. So let me give an example. If I'm taxing a group of people, there's almost, now with phones and things, it's getting easier, but it's for most intents and purposes, it's impossible for me to know all the interactions that my people are having. And part of those interactions will create financial value gain, or at least value transfer. I need to know how much of that value transfer is happening so I know how much tax to take. If the individual believes that, oh my days, my government is so powerful, so wise, so sneaky, so omnipotent, you start to police yourself, and that then makes you, in this very crude example, pay more tax.
And also a law-abiding citizen.
And that applies because the tax is a law, like you said, or any other law that person is imposing on you or maintaining.
Yep, you're less likely to deviate from what they tell you because you think that they're gonna know.
How will they know?
They're gonna know.
And so, when in reality, if we're trying to look at this objectively, we're trying to strip away a little bit of the emotion. Sure, every large system, once you get to a certain scale, you always create horrible things just because you're so large. Like
I've just realised.
Yeah.
We're not teaching people how to do the elevator pitch.
Yeah, but that's because
we're doing our own elevator pitch again.
Haven't, because it's because I still don't like insufficient and stuff like that.
But the purpose of this was not to do the elevator pitch again. It was to teach other people how to do the elevator pitch, and I got caught.
How can we teach it if I still don't know what's going on?
You know what's going on. You know what we're doing. You don't know what we're doing with our own elevator pitch. And you've already said that. It's iteration. That's not what this is.
So if you want to explain what we're doing, then you need to think of a framework. If you want to do that. Because then you're not writing out what we did, you're writing out what one should do.
Not writing out, showing them what you should do by doing it ourselves. Applying it to our business.
Well, then that's what we're doing.
But you're taking way too long to explain every single... We are taking... not you. We are explaining things in such detail that they're going to have to be invested in our business.
I think this is valuable. Let's go around and do it. And tomorrow we'll do it quicker.
Again. Okay.
But we'll do it quicker.
All right. Yeah. 10 minutes max.
The whole thing.
5 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes max. Okay. 5 minutes. Cool. You say 5 minutes. It takes us 45 minutes to get here. All right.
just because we want to clarify little nuances, and then we can all push in the same direction.
Mashallah.
Mashallah. The government is working in the blind. They can't actually see what's going on. And so, if we can provide more transparency, at least good agents can act better. Because I think the issue right now is you have bad agents.
Yeah.
And you have people who genuinely want to do the right thing.
But they're working blind.
But they're working blind, so they're making stuff
Bad
worse.
agents can hide behind being blind, basically. Because they can't see. They don't know what's there, and they can be like, sorry bro, I didn't know. Right?
I thought.
Yeah. And the good agent admits that they're working blind, but the sad fact is they are working blind. Both we
Even
can
if they
address
don't, I don't
by
think the good agent
increasing
admits they're working blind.
transparency.
I don't even think the good agent says they're working blind.
They probably know.
Do you think?
Of course. Well,
I don't think. Well,
on some level they must know.
Of
How do
course.
we know?
Because we're not in the grinder, so it's easy to see what's going on when you're on the outside. Like when you're in the battle, you're just like, ah, but when you're on the hill, you're like, oh yeah, this side's gonna win. Or,
Okay, all right, cool.
Um,
And also, us, we're working blind. Why are you hitting yourself?
I'm just freeing up loose nerve endings.
We're working in the blind.
Of course.
For example, business owners, you make so many assumptions about
the
your
market,
clientele, the market, your business, and the offer it can provide to people. But really, you're working in the blind. You're relying on an industry that is the research and marketing industry that's relatively biased, I would say. Remember the video we saw about how it's outdated? They peddle certain ideas, and like they'll peddle certain ideas about how the choice that individuals make is based on the story, a company's story, and individuals don't care. Individuals unfortunately don't have the freedom to care. They don't, given the fact that people aren't perfect and they don't make the best decisions necessarily day to day, and that people are really stressed out in their lives, and we're now going through a cost of living crisis. But even before that, there are a lot of people in this country, let's talk about this country, that are quite poor. And so when they're making decisions, they don't care about a business's story. They care about their end. They care about their pockets, and they care about their needs and how the two coincide. They don't care about your story. That might be an afterthought, and oh, that's nice. That's nice that they're sustainable. But I didn't shop there because it was sustainable, for example. So yeah, what we're doing as business owners is we're being led by a kind of outdated industry as well. So they're blind and they're making us blind.
You claim. What do you think we're going? In what way do you want to hedge your? In what way do you want to hedge our marketing portfolio then going forward? And if not, perpetuate narratives, or perpetuate narratives that have a clear benefit to the person. Bobby goes to the shop. He buys this. He's happy. That kind of narrative.
What do you mean? I'm so lost. Sorry.
So was I. With what you were saying. You're saying people are no longer buying into narratives, no?
At what point were people buying narratives?
They were. They definitely were. When Apple, when it was the whole, they did that whole thing where it was like think and I can remember how it looked. It was like really like blue and dark, and they were like walking around.
Who was buying into narratives?
Whoever was buying Apple at that time.
And who was buying Apple at that time?
I don't know. I wasn't alive. But from people who were alive, this was 80s, like late
with
70s,
like the okay. But
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
that? Was it poor people?
No.
Was it a majority of people, or was it tech nerds?
Yeah, middle class plus.
Exactly. That's still true today. They have the flexibility to buy
But that's
narrative.
yeah, but people have always been poor and people have always been rich. Like that's also.
Exactly.
So why would you say it's outdated? It's just not outdated. It's just continuing to benefit those that have
You
enough,
could maybe make
free time or whatever.
It's outdated today because more people are poor now.
What metric? You mean like units, like human beings? There are more poor human beings now than ever.
So if you look at wages,
Cool.
they're stagnant, and if you look at the price of goods, they're rising. So people are relatively poorer. Yeah.
So what scale
Houses.
are we on? What scale are we on? Because if we're in like 200, 300 year scale, then we're getting richer, right?
Okay.
So-
Well, 200, 300, we weren't really buying things like that. So think about the consumption economy. Since when has that existed? After the Second World War, at least. So
Okay.
1945 forward.
Okay.
And it didn't really hit, I'd say, until maybe the 60s, or yeah, probably the 60s, 70s. So the last 50 years, let's say. We're
Okay.
relatively poorer, right? Individuals. A lot of people
I
are,
don't
and there's
know.
greater inequality.
I literally don't know. I just had the impression that because I value technology, and technology up until the last decade has just been exponentially increasing, and the fact that you can get a supercomputer in your pocket and have that connected to the internet remotely at a level of bit bandwidth that's in the megabytes per second, I just thought that's such wealth. That's incredible wealth. I don't know.
You can give someone a piece of gold, and that's a lot of wealth, but how are they using it? That it doesn't, just because something's available doesn't mean that people are using it for a thing that's
And
useful.
that's our opportunity. But that's not what you were talking about.
No.
So you're saying from the 60s onwards, based on being a typical Western consumer, or just being
This
any
might
kind
be
of
wrong.
consumer?
These stats might be wrong.
What can we
But-
get up? Because we can, if we search here, they can see it.
Okay. So research. Are we in the UK? Are we getting poorer or richer? Do you want me to do it?
Oh yeah, please. I can type. Okay.
Since the 60s.
No, something like that.
What? No. People are spending more, and their wealth will be greater because house
Okay.
prices are going up.
Like what we measuring?
Say income to price ratio.
Oops. It's all about housing. It really is.
Income go up. So click on that.
This one.
UK house price to income ratio and affordability.
Welcome to the panic room, where all your problems Where are we? 1996, so it's not very far.
No, it's okay. Don't scroll.
Mortgage payment percentage of take home pay. See what I mean? Like it's
Oh,
average.
UK real house prices since 1975.
What's this real house? Yeah, but that's
Taking
real.
into
So that's
account
account for inflation. But what does that tell us though? On its own, isn't it better to compare it with something else? Like income. That's what the one above was saying. Mortgage payment of take home money below. In Q2, the house price was 70,000 average. Recorded income of mortgages borrowed was 24,000. Huh? Oh, average. Okay. By quarter three, average house price was 30 and average income. Well, the proportion, the ratio between the two hasn't changed that much, has it?
Yes, it has.
246 is what, like a third?
Third.
And the third would be 6 is 1, 2,
That's 5.
1,
1 in 5.
1, 8.
60,
Okay, yeah, it's
60
gone up
over
a lot.
300 is 1 in 5.
Oh,
So it has changed.
wait, so it's got less. It's gone from a,
house
from a
prices
third.
it's gone up. So people's income to house price has gone down.
Mortgage payments percentage of take home pay. That's what I'm saying. It just hovers around like 30, where average. Like, I don't disagree with what you're saying necessarily. It's just I don't know. I'm just
But
not
maybe
precise
we don't have information on, aren't mortgages getting longer as well, and so you're paying for a longer time, but you're paying less, right? Isn't that also?
And more people do the pay to let, where you like you're paying sometimes, or
I don't know what to do here. I don't know what's happening. Do I click back?
I don't know. Nice.
Hold on. Okay.
Anyway, affordability index, housing. You know what I mean? Feels like kind of average. It doesn't feel like
I don't
average
know what
as
that
someone
means.
in our age group. It feels like our parents could work a kind of what would be classified as a medium to low skill job and afford a house, whereas now that feels quite difficult to do. But I don't know. How's it zoomed in? Oh, that's fine. I think if we start again, we don't have to wait till tomorrow. We can try again.
From the beginning?
Of
Okay.
you explaining this.
Okay.
Because I started talking about the government being blind, and I just started freestyling.
Okay. Scroll.
Okay. So let's have a little brain break.
Squats.
Nice.
Someone's calling. Who's calling me? Should I answer? It's a random number.
Check the phone. I don't know the number.
Or maybe
I would
that's my.
never.
Oh no, that's from Lala. What's someone calling me? Hello? What's happening, G? Yes, of course. But I did it with Wix. Okay. Alright, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Can we do it this weekend? Okay. I'll probably be home on Saturday. Okay. No worries, pals. See you soon. Bye bye.
You helping them with their website?
Yep.
You're
You're
getting
getting that.
What? I managed to outsource my work to you. Nice.
I know, what the hell is this?
Are they doing Squarespace?
No Wix.
Okay.
I was surprised that they didn't do Wix straight away. But there you go. I'm surprised Helen didn't ask me. Straight away. Nice. We're getting doll. We're getting free doll for life.
And this green doll, which feels kind of more, I don't know, it's like brown rice. I like it. Okay, starts with objectives. Ooh. Then we move to problems. Now, things that we want and problems. Because I remember you said, is it this or is it hopes and dreams? I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
I think it's everything it is.
Yeah.
So what was before that and what came after that?
Objectives.
So
What do you mean?
objectives, hopes and dreams, and
What do you mean? Sorry?
I'm just trying to recall what you helped expose
So-
me to yesterday, and then we can recreate it in 5 minutes.
Yesterday we did hopes and dreams.
Do you want to give a case study example? Like, I want to start I want to start a bit of meaner business. I want to start a dog running business like Helen.
Or we could just give what we do.
Thing is, if we give what we're doing, it's a bit dangerous.
Okay.
Because our shit. Sorry, £1. Because it's, you know, we have to explain a lot, and also the things that we haven't clarified properly, and we will just stop and get stuck there and start talking about it.
Okay.
That's what I did last time.
Yeah, we could do a vitamina type thing. Or yeah, literally anything.
Oh, the samosa business.
The samosa business. That's the next one. We can have 3 businesses soon. Okay, should we go?
3 samosas for life. That's a great deal.
We're gonna get so fat.
Then we need to air fry them.
Samosas are so good too. Ugh. Okay.
This is where the clips is gonna start. Okay, that we're gonna put on TikTok 10 minutes.
Okay, 5 to 10.
You ready?
Yep.
This is Mario. I'm Mayo. She helped me with my elevator speech. Previously, it was like 5 minutes long. And she was kind of intuitively...
Longer than that, I'd say.
You at me like this now? She
45.
Yeah, it was a good 40.
And even then people were confused. But that's because the idea is so big. Give you that. He's ambitious.
I like a lot of things, but ambition ain't one of them.
Yep.
Okay.
And so yesterday, I've already created an elevator pitch for a company that I started, Swap Shop, and...
Swappity.
Oh, I wish I had the... Okay. And so I wanted to teach Mayo the method that I used, and we used my elevator pitch as a basis for developing a method, and it was like reverse engineering. It was very useful. And the method was, you start off with I've done it again. Problems. They're not going to be able to see this.
Why?
Oh, they will. Okay. Problems. And then solutions. Or solution. Okay. All right. So we're going to show you. It's so easy, and I think it's good for people who want to come up with an elevator pitch. If you want to, even if you're not attempting to get funding right now, if you just want to get a better understanding of an idea you have, this is a good way to do it. If you want to become better at explaining something that's important to you, I think it works particularly well with businesses. But if you want to explain things better to the people around you, this is a good method. And also, if you want to come up with ideas to start a business, this is a good way to do it. Can you scroll a little bit, please?
All-purposing tool almost.
Yep. And it's so simple, right? And it's not foreign to us. It's nothing new. We haven't reinvented the wheel, right?
So as an example, we're going to give a samosa business. There's a lady that Mari knows. She makes incredible samosas.
The best.
And they're in high demand locally. And we're just thinking, can we help her expand and fill demand? And,
okay, but what are her problems, right? So the first problem is, go on.
She's doing it all herself. Some hardware things in terms of she's doing it from herself. She's doing it from her own kitchen.
Small kitchen. Well, that's a whole other problem.
Sure.
So she's got a small kitchen, and she's working from home. All right. You wouldn't think this is a problem, but this is genuinely a problem she's facing, but that goes to show how good her samosas are. Too much demand, dude.
Or unfilled demand.
Yeah.
But we could keep it like that. I can't really think of any more, so you're taking the wheel from here on out.
So she's alone. She's got a small kitchen. Too much demand.
It's not really a
That's
problem. That's enough.
Okay, that's enough. You
there's
don't.
just one
There's
caveat,
no.
which
Yeah.
is she's selling 100 for £40, which is 40p each, and that seems very cheap.
Yeah.
But that's not really a problem. That's a
Maybe yeah.
situation.
Let's say one of we. I mean, we can invent this. Let's say her profit margin is too low.
Let's say just for the case study. So we have the problem at the top here. Then what do we come after that? Shall I scroll down?
Hold on.
Just hold on. I'm writing down.
Yeah. So we have the problems. Also, I just want to mention here, there is no, there's no minimum number of problems you could be solving. You don't
Could
need
be
to have
one.
you don't need to have 4. You can have 1 or you can have 100. Try to limit it though. I think it would become really complicated with 100.
Especially with an elevator speech.
Yeah.
Because one thing that Mario was doing for me was saying that's not important. That doesn't matter. This isn't relevant.
That
And
comes a
cutting
little
it
bit
fat.
later. This
But
is
I
the.
think if you
this
have
is,
lots of problems, you're going to run into that more
yeah,
often.
definitely. But for the trimming the fat, that comes a little bit later. This is turning that idea that's in your head into something a little bit more concrete. You highlight a bunch of problems and then you showcase what your solution or solutions are. And then the fat trimming comes later. Long story short, the fat trimming is only include it if it's absolutely necessary for the understanding of the solution.
So what are some of the solutions for the samosas?
Okay.
Employment, onboarding,
Hire people.
rent a place.
Yep. Rent. Like a dark kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dark kitchen samosas. Sounds like it could be a hit. And she's a brownie.
She's a brownie. Darky kitchen. Up your prices, mate, because there's so much demand.
You might as well meet it somehow.
Yeah.
Now there's a small caveat here, so price elasticity of demand. So cigarettes, if you're addicted, you can increase the price. People keep smoking.
Yeah.
You know, Sani was saying the price of cigarettes now for a pack of 20 was 20 or something. It's like a quid each or something like that.
£16 or something.
Yeah, it's almost
mad,
a quid
mad.
each, when they cost like probably 1.5p to make. But people keep smoking. But with samosas, maybe if we increase the price, the demand drops loads. We don't think that'll be the case, but it's just something to be aware of. What kind of product do you have? If I increase the price, how will that affect demand?
So there was too much unfulfilled demand. Okay, yeah, this is it. We've done it.
So we've got our problems
Now,
at the top, solutions at the bottom.
This is interesting because this is our elevator pitch to her when we're approaching her
Okay.
with a
So
solution.
what Mario said is who you're talking to. You
Yeah.
need to have in mind who you're talking to.
And then you shape it accordingly. Yeah.
And you have multiple different elevator pitches for different types of people.
And the more you do it, the better you become at just freestyling on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so
that.
what do you want to do here? So what do we go next in terms
Okay.
of creating this elevator pitch?
Okay, so the next thing you would do now is scroll.
Scroll.
Okay, right. So now you have it would be really cool if we had them up, the problems and solutions.
At the same time.
Okay, oh God, what happened? Is it still streaming?
Yes, should be.
Are you sure?
It is, yeah.
You know what happened yesterday. I'm traumatized, PTSD in that.
See?
Okay.
Although the event didn't happen. There you go. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Wait.
All right.
Wait. What happened? There you go. See, nothing happened.
Cool. All right, so we've got, let's just summarize it.
We could snippet this on
Yeah.
the app, you know, the text to speech app. We could upload it to that and snippet it that way.
Okay, so we have our problems and solutions, just so we have them in front of us when we're actually writing a pitch script. It doesn't have to be you formally write one out, but you can do that. When I was doing it, I wrote it all down formally and then I sent it to you. Do you remember? So problem 1 was working
remember.
alone.
you drink enough water?
Second one, unfulfilled demand. I'm panicking.
I'm gonna lose my job.
And the solution to these two is hire people. Three.
Kitchen.
Little space, yeah. Space. Find
Or rent, yeah. Yeah,
dark
find.
kitchen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, those were our.
Should we go?
Yes, please. Go down. Oh, up the prices. Profit margin too low. Go down.
Yeah. So.
Profit margin too low. Up prices. Okay. So now, because we're talking to the business owner and we're coming in as people who are trying to not woo her, help her, but also help ourselves, because we're committing to this. Because we are trying to help her, we have to, in our elevator pitch, we have to show some sort of understanding of her business and maybe compliment her a little bit, because I think everyone knows that that's...
So do you want to do a 1 minute spitball?
Okay.
Where's the phone?
What phone? Oh, timer? You can do a timer here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if you can give me this, you'll do the spitballing, and then I'll write the...
Okay.
All I'm doing is
All right.
writing the themes down that she says. So this is an example last time.
The other side.
Or this.
Yeah.
And the idea is you just write down the topics and how those topics link together.
And how it flows.
And
You
how it
also
flows.
have to listen. That was more useful when we were... Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that'll be...
So you're gonna do a 1 minute spitball. 3, 2, 1, go.
So we understand that you have started a rather successful samosa business. There are problems that you currently face. One of those problems is that you are working entirely alone. You are also working in a little space. You're working out of your kitchen. There's a lot of demand for your samosas. And unfortunately, because you're working alone out of a little space, you're not able to meet that demand. Also, we know what your prices are. You're currently selling 100 samosas for £40. And we believe that that's a really low profit margin. There are solutions to your problems, and we want to help you grow your business even further because we believe in your business. The first thing that we believe you should do is onboard new people. Next, we should find a dark kitchen that you and your new hires can work out
1
of.
minute.
Next, you will up the prices, not only to meet demand, but because we think that you should expand your profit margins. Thank you. That was the first attempt. Keep
And
that
it's
in mind.
only 20 seconds over. My first attempt was like 2 minutes 30.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wrote down was, we understand the success of the business.
Mm-hmm.
There are, however, problems of working alone. There's problems with small spaces, and you can't meet demand.
So one thing I instantly realized was if I started with unfulfilled demand, I could incorporate working alone and little space to justify the unfulfilled demand.
Okay, do you want to write
And
down?
so, okay, there you go. So,
Change
alright,
colour,
so
change
here.
colour.
You're so anal. Okay, so
Understand the success of the business. Why are you starting there?
I'm combining 3 points into one
Okay.
because
Hey, this is only a second day with this. You're getting really good with it.
see, that'll narrow it down. You're not able to meet demand for your samosas because you're working alone out of a tiny kitchen. I've combined 1, 2, and 3 into one sentence.
Yes.
And that
these
and
three.
shortened it, but it hits the same.
I think I'm putting this on the table. Starting with we understand the success of your business sounded pretty banging to me. Do you still want to start like that, or do you have another optimization that you've thought of?
So Warren Buffett says that you should invest in businesses that you believe in, and one of the reasons why I want to help
Cinnarol.
Cinnabon.
Oh, Cinnabon.
We're trying to get Cinnabon.
We've not earned it yet.
Okay. You're right. Okay. So Warren Buffett says you should invest in businesses that you believe in because you think that they're going to be around and you think that other people will want them, right? You think they're going to be around for a really long time. So go along in those businesses. And one of the reasons why I want to help her is because I believe in her business. I want to help her out too because she's a really genuinely nice lady who's built a business from scratch, and she's a first generation immigrant and she's older, and I think that her story is incredible. And also she does really cool stuff, like she volunteers when so many people in the brown community don't do stuff like that. Like she just volunteers at her local church, which is wild, man. So nice, so cool. Absolute gem of a woman. And so I don't want to lie to her. I don't want to make it seem as if I'm just trying to like lure her in with a couple of like, you're so
Scooby
successful. Like I truly want to reiterate that I do in fact believe in your business. So not that we understand the success.
So my understanding,
Okay.
my understanding was because we're talking to her, it's useful for her to know we know about the business.
Yeah,
And that was the introduction to that.
But also why we want to be a part of the business, I should have said.
Okay.
So we understand her business, not because both of us make samosas, but we've been told stories about her business. We want to know more. But we want to highlight, so with this person in particular, it's not like she's getting loads of offers from people to help her out with her business. So with her, we don't need to show a perfect understanding of the business. She's also highlighted that she's open to help. And so what I want to do is highlight why we want to help her.
Okay.
Okay.
So how would you redo this bit then?
We believe that your business has a lot of potential.
Do you want to write it down?
We believe
Okay.
but we understand that you are facing some probs.
I had no idea how you're going to fit that in.
I
Somehow
did
you
it.
made it happen. Somehow you made it happen. The final point of what I had as problems was profit margin too low. You don't have to have that next, but that's something that you did say the first time round in the order. And then after that, I called it solutions, which was hire people and dark kitchen.
Okay. All right. Yep. So here, okay. So then it's interesting because it doesn't have to be. You can decide as an individual when you're working through this. Also dependent on who you're speaking to. You have a little bit of flexibility about whether you want to state all your problems at the same time or you want to split them up. You want to go problem, solution, problem, solution. You might want to do that, because so here I think straight after this we could go into, we've stated a problem, we think you should hire people, train them up, and find a dark kitchen that you guys can work out of, right?
Yeah.
And then we can say we also believe that your profit margins are too low. There's clearly demand, which we've already said. There's a lot of demand that you're not able to meet.
You're like putting this here.
Yeah, so let's try it, see how that sounds, and then if it doesn't sound good, that's the best thing about this method, is iteration, and it's really cool to do it with someone else because you get instant feedback. Buyer's written down exactly what I did, and it's helping. It's hearing it back in that form is really helping. Okay, so the next point was this. So
It's like solutions area, hiring people.
yeah, so I won't say dark kitchen because I don't think she'll know what that is. I'll say workspace, which is a lot easier to understand for everyone. I had to have dark kitchen explained to me too.
Mm-hmm.
It also might not be relevant here. Okay. So that's the solution. This is the solution to all of this. And now I'm going into another problem we've noticed, is that we suspect that your profit margins are a little bit too low.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think once we've got a more established business, we can push up prices as well. Because
So she might think, I can't afford this, that, the other. I only make X.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
saying, well, potentially you can make more than X.
You can make more because there's clearly demand, and once you're able to show that you're able to fulfill more orders, you can push up prices because you open up new avenues. You can approach different businesses, but then that comes later. So here is the fat trimming. Is that absolutely necessary about opening new avenues? No.
Mm-hmm.
Let her come to me. Let her ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think you stopped here perfectly because the camera's going to be here.
Cool. We also believe that you aren't charging enough. Again, I'm not speaking to a business person, so I don't need to mention profit margin. You aren't charging, we think you should consider pushing up prices. The demand is clearly there.
Am I right in saying we'll do another 1 minute and then a recap of the whole process?
Yeah. Okay.
Timer?
It's going to be much shorter now.
You can
Okay.
use it. Do you need a moment or
No, I'm just going to read. I've written it in the way that I'm going to say it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi Auntie, we believe that your business has a lot of potential, but we understand that you're facing some problems right now. You're not able to meet demand because you're working alone out of a tiny little kitchen in your own house. We think you should hire a couple of people to work with you and maybe rent a workspace if you can afford it. We also believe that you aren't charging enough. We think that you should consider pushing up prices because clearly the demand is there. 28 seconds.
Business potential, can't meet demand, hire people, Maybe hire or maybe rent.
Yeah, that's a maybe because maybe we're suggesting too much too
and
soon.
you have a
This is a
sequential process.
single business owner who doesn't think like that.
And charge more, question mark.
Yeah.
And then this is just an example of the iterative process. So
Yeah.
if you
But
have more time,
given
less time.
given how long it took me to explain it to you in the house, how we've packed that into 28 seconds, 55 milliseconds, something else, 35.
What do you
How
call this
much
process?
quicker was this?
Due to the X process. What's X called? What are you calling it?
I'm calling this. Oh. That's too much pressure. I feel like we should come up with a name. Help me. I've worked too hard. I'm finished. Problem solution.
Problem solution. Trimming the fat.
So PSI. Problem solution iterate.
PSI.
PSI.
And can you just give me a 1 minute rundown that we'll put at the end of the clip?
Of what?
From the top. So just a quick recap from the top. That's like a minute. Oh, that's the old
Yeah.
one.
So go up.
So we'll start here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the recap is.
Okay. So this is PSI. It's incredibly simple. If you're working on a business plan and you want to understand your idea better, or you're trying to come up with an elevator pitch, or you're trying to come up with a business idea, we recommend problem solution. Oh damn, I need to do that again. Green. We can do iteration. Is that how you spell it?
I thought it was one T, but then I realised I can't spell, so
Neither
I
can
stayed
I.
quiet.
Put love hearts so they don't look.
Nice.
Do you want to check? Do you want to Google?
Nope.
Stop it.
Profit margin too low.
1T.
I was right about spelling. Going all the way back. If there's a mistake, I annihilate you. Oh, you're already on 83%. Amazing. Amazing.
Okay. All right.
Problem, solution, iteration. And Mario tried to explain this to me today. Took her a while. Working with someone else doing problem, solution, iteration, we got it down to 30 seconds. Very concise. And do you want to go to problems?
Okay. So the first thing you do when you're working with problem, solution, iteration, or PSI is you write down the problems that you want to solve. So here we were attempting to work out the problems for a samosa business of someone that we know. And then we went to solutions. Those were specific solutions to these problems. So you can see why you'd start with the problems first. Then I wrote down the problems and solutions next to each other and then freestyled a elevator pitch of sorts. It was more for her, it was more me, how am I going to approach her? What is my initial approach to her with my intention to attempt to help her? And
don't feel disheartened if you go over the 1 minute or if it takes whatever minutes.
Yeah, because
the final point is the iteration.
Exactly. So when we first did it, it took 1.5 minutes, which is already quite short. It's only 1.5 minutes.
But she's a pro at this. So.
I've been doing it for years. Okay, and then Bio wrote down, you don't have to do this. You can do this alone. We recommend doing it with other people because I think part of the iteration is getting feedback. But you can also see what another way you could do it, I guess, would be recording yourself, playing it back, seeing how it sounds to you. Does it make sense? Then start trimming the fat, and that's the iteration. So then on the right hand side, we wrote down, given how my brain was thinking when I was freestyling it the first time, and the things that the feedback I got from Bio, we did a second iteration, and the second iteration, we brought it down to 28 seconds, this little pitch, and that's incredible. But you're not limited to 2 iterations. It might take you 10, and that's okay. This also isn't perfect. It's good enough. And also you can change your pitch depending on your audience.
PSI, try it out. So what I'm going to do here is turn on audio and hopefully we hear audio.
It doesn't. You're not limited to 2 iterations. It might take you.
It's working.
And that's okay.
Nice.
This also isn't perfect. It's good enough. And also you can change
Oh, it's because this pen.
your pitch depending on your audience.
And I think we can upload that to Deluge. No, not Deluge. Descript.
Yeah.
And then you can just.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
And make it look better.
yeah. And then.
Cool.
And we can upload that. I kind of want to stop stream and then go again on a separate stream, and then that
Okay.
way it will see if it uploads. Because I'm presuming this saves. It may not.
Oh Jesus. I think it does. Oh, it can
So-
ask. You can ask it now.
So do click end stream here, maybe.
Yeah.
Your stream will stop immediately, and you will no longer be live.
Yeah. And I'll please save.
Congratulations. Remember, the next time you want to go live.